Hey, welcome to the Chuck and Al Show, the space where real life meets real conversation. I'm here with my friend and pastor, and together we're exploring the questions that don't always fit neatly in a Sunday sermon or in a soundbite. Every week, we dig into the stuff that we're all wrestling with: purpose, doubt, hope, relationships, and the chaos in a modern world, and what it actually looks like to live with meaning in a world that never slows down. No perfect answers, no pressure to pretend, just two friends thinking out loud and inviting you into the conversation. This is the Chuck and Al Show. Let's get into it.
Real path.
Welcome back.
Thank you, man. I'm glad to be back.
Good to see you.
It's good to see you.
You have energy.
I do. I've been at Disney World for 7 days straight.
7 straight
9
days.
miles a day.
Wow.
That's
I mean,
a lot.
you're basically an athlete now.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
You're going to run the marathon? Mini
Probably.
marathon?
Yeah. Easy.
Easy.
I had a question for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
I've been gone for a week, so I hadn't really, but as I'm coming home, you ring me up, or I ring you up, I think. And you're like, hey, I need help. I'm a friend. I'm a helper.
I ringed you up. I asked for help. I'm learning.
I'm an empathetic
Yep.
friend. I said, I will help you. What do we have? What did you buy?
I bought a new fire pit.
New fire pit. Exciting about that.
It's not just a fire pit. It's a pretty fancy fire pit.
My daughter commented on it. She said,
Yeah.
Dad, the fire pit. And I said, yeah. And she said, no, Dad.
It's legit.
It's a legit fire pit.
Yeah. It's kind of made for cooking over the fire too. So there's some attachments I need to buy. But the attachments cost more than
I'd
I
like
paid
to come
for
over
the
and
fire
sit
pit.
tonight, maybe.
Please do.
I will.
Please do.
I'm going to invite myself.
Come on.
But my daughter also said this. I don't know.
It could be raining tonight though.
I could be telling on you, and I don't want to tell on you.
Go ahead. I'm an open book.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
You're not going to get bitter. Okay, well, your wife made the comment of, yeah, he finds some guy on Facebook Marketplace.
I did.
Got a great deal.
Just for the record, I saved $900 buying this on
she
Marketplace.
said that. She said saved his nearly $1,000 for this.
Yeah.
But I still don't have my toilet.
Yeah, that's true. So
how's the bathroom remodel coming?
it's coming.
Okay.
It's coming. It's not progressing. This weekend was slow. I don't know what happens during the week that just, I think the thing about leadership that no one really teaches you about is that there's an emotional drainage to your energy level. And so like you can get to the end of the week where, as I used to have hard weeks where I drove on tasks and I got a lot of stuff done. Wow, that was a crazy busy week, but I still had energy going into the weekend. In a leadership role where you're leading people and helping people or not, it just seems like you can get to the weekend. It's just like, man, I've got no more gas in the tank for anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to do things, but I don't have the energy.
Have you bought the toilet yet?
No.
I have an idea.
We don't need to buy a toilet. I got plenty of things.
No. I have an idea. Toilet probably,
$200.
200. Let's go high, 300. Let's get her a nice.
Oh, that's a nice
Let's
one.
get her a nice 300.
Okay.
Here's what we do. Order it, right?
Yep.
Just go ahead and order it. I'll pick it up.
Okay.
And then what I will do is I'll come over and I'll say, hey, toilet delivery for a Miss Hadley Van Wee.
Love that.
And, oh, my God. Because, right, you got
Yeah.
the thing, and she's like,
Here's
I
the
didn't get
toilet.
my toilet.
Yeah.
Here's the toilet. I'll deliver it.
Yeah.
What pastor wouldn't do that?
I love that.
Don't tell her.
Okay.
You just tell me when it's ordered at Home Depot. I'll swing over, pick it up, or you pick it up and drop it off.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
I'll bring it up to the
I
house.
love that.
Ring the doorbell.
So your toilet's been delivered.
Your toilet's been delivered.
Yeah, we can do that.
And that's what every pastor should do.
But should she pick out the toilet?
Ooh.
Because her and I have, my wife's 5 foot tall.
Mhm.
I'm 6 foot tall.
Mhm.
We have different opinions on the toilet.
That you should. You should.
So I don't.
She always wins.
So we should let her pick it out, but then we should leave the store and not buy it. And then I got this.
Yeah.
I set this up. So
yeah.
we're close. We're close.
I noticed the light was on. Not like I stalk you.
Well, you'd have to drive past my
Every
house.
human has to drive past your house.
Yeah.
You live on the busiest corner
busiest
in
corner in the
Paulding
neighborhood.
County.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
so I check. The light's on. So I clapped for him. Like, man, he's working
He's
for his
working.
wife tonight, or she's put you to work.
Yeah. So
July 4th, you still feel good.
no, she's actually moved it up.
Ooh.
So here's what's happening. So June is a busy month for me.
Okay.
I have a trip to Illinois, to Wisconsin to play golf and do some work stuff.
Oh, God.
And then as soon as I come back from that, before that I go to Oklahoma. So Oklahoma for a family reunion, then a work trip, which my wife would say is not work because we're golfing.
Oh,
And then I leave for Alaska for my brother's wedding. So she was going to Alaska with me.
okay.
We've changed the plan. She's going to stay home and kind of take care of Rustin and my oldest sister who's disabled.
Okay.
So giving my parents kind of a brief relief that they don't have
Okay.
to figure out how to fly with her, which is a challenge.
Okay.
Especially a flight that's 8 hours.
Oh yeah.
So now I have to have a toilet and a shower ready to go by the time I leave for Alaska. So I've got 6 weeks
Okay.
to
That's
get it done.
doable.
However, in those 6 weeks, 3 of them I'm out of town for. So I got 3 weeks. And here's where we're at. Water underlayment's in. I've got to waterproof the curb to the underlayment, and I should be setting the floor tile this weekend.
Okay.
Which means then I can put some trim on the wall and I can set the commode.
Okay.
Change it to commode.
Okay.
The shower is a different situation, but I can figure that out.
Okay.
So I have a path. I just need to be rested going into this weekend.
Okay.
So
Count me in. I'm here to help.
Yeah. So just keep me accountable.
Okay.
That's
I am.
genuinely
why I said.
that's one of the hardest things.
What guy buys a fire pit, but he's no closer to finishing with a toilet? And
Well-
I want to save you.
So the fire pit,
I'm
so-
proud for you.
so
I'm
I've been
not trying to put you down.
it's an expensive fire pit.
That's what I heard.
It's not cheap.
It's
but,
not cheap.
Uh,
What does it go for on the open market? You said
$1,400.
How much?
$1,400.
Okay, so that's a pretty decent fire
Yeah,
pit.
yeah.
Okay.
It's made out of steel. It's got a smokeless feature, but then it has all these attachments for like cooking over the fire.
Did he invite you over?
Can't say he did. No.
Okay.
Okay, so it's cool though, right?
Uh-huh.
It's also dangerous because it literally set up to where like you can grill your food on the fire pit edge. So having a 2-year-old, my in-laws aren't quite thrilled about it, but I've been looking for it for 6 months. For my birthday, I asked for money from my family so that I could buy this fire pit. I had saved money from Christmas gifts to buy this fire pit, and so when it came up on Marketplace Sunday
gotta
night,
have it.
I was like, hey, I could go tile this bathroom, but this is available in Augusta right now. So I drove to Augusta at 9:30 at night on Sunday night, showed up to a random guy's house, was like, I'm here to buy your fire pit.
Man, that's commitment.
Yeah. And then we had a bonfire on Monday with our small group. Had most everybody show up for the first time this year.
Great.
And everybody stayed till 11:30.
Yeah, my daughter loved the fire pit.
I thought it was fun. I think we're going to do it all summer, actually. I
Okay.
think it's just going to be how we handle small group this summer.
Well, we'll be there.
Yeah, I almost texted you, invited you. I hope your other daughter comes too. She's definitely not listening to this podcast, but if you are, she should
I'll
come
bring
too.
her. Yeah, we'll round her up. She's home all
She's
summer.
a young adult.
She's home all
She doesn't
summer.
have an excuse.
Uh-uh.
So
None of them do.
I'm just throwing that out there.
They went to Disney with us. It was supposed to be just me and Robin.
A nice little anniversary
getaway.
birthday trip.
No, not at all.
Birthday
knock,
trip?
Knock, knock. Here they are. Yeah, birthday.
Here they come.
Here they come. Both of them showed up.
Your
Crashed the hotel room and 4 days with them.
I've been hearing this a lot that people talk about how hard it is to raise kids. How hard is it to raise adults?
Harder.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah, because they just show up to your Disney trip unexpected.
Kids are simple.
You know, you leave the kid at home for the Alaska trip. Rustin's not going to show up in Alaska.
You think your
You know?
teenager years are hard raising? No. Raising a teenager, wait till you raise an adult.
So you had a great trip.
Oh, yeah, always. It's
Love that.
Disney. How could it go bad? It's wonderful.
Yeah, I'm not a Disney fanatic.
It's obvious.
So
But it's okay.
I just like to sit on the beach.
It's okay. Some
And,
people do.
That's where I'm going in 2 weeks. So
Some people do.
I'll get my reprieve.
I will say why it's so good for me is like there's no agenda now. We
Yeah.
used to have to just tote sweaty, crying kids around, and I'm like, who would do that?
the happiest place on earth.
Never. It depends on what child you're behind that's screaming because they're so sweaty, and the parents literally look like they are
About
about to die.
Yeah.
You should talk to Robin and get her take on what she saw happening at a table with a man. It was hilarious.
Maybe I need to figure that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Had fun. What are we talking about?
Well, so
You've given me like 5 or 10 options this week of things we should chat about.
there's a lot of things brewing in the system. I want to address two. We missed last week because Mark was on vacation. Heading into the summer with our busy travel schedule, I'd like to move this to every other week. If that's okay with you,
Yeah, it's your
if you're a
podcast.
listener and you're ticked off right now, I do apologize. I think that'll give us an opportunity to do some special releases. If there's something like timely, we need to get out there. We have the ability to do that, but it also gives us a little more flexibility than the weekly show.
I'm with you.
I'd like to try it out.
It's Chuck and Al, but Al is the 100% proprietor.
Except for the fact that Chuck leads the conversation.
And
I
I'm
lead the
sorry
topic.
about that.
No, I need
No.
it. I need it.
You need it.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's...
I don't want to do that. I'm just here because you said I need to
I'm not
work
old
out
enough-
things you talk about in church, and I need somewhere to work it out.
I'm not old enough and wise enough to sit here in front of a mic and just tell people what I think. No one would listen to that.
I would.
Well, I appreciate that.
I would.
But it's fewer people. So I have a couple ideas.
Okay.
Or Connor, you said we ended the podcast last time saying we were going to talk about what?
You said at the end of last episode that you were going to talk about perversion in the church.
Perversion in the church. That sounds boring today.
It does. It's everywhere.
Let's pass on that.
Let's pass.
Okay, cool.
That's a pass.
We keep talking about one day talking about the millennial reign.
Yeah,
I think we're going to pass on that too.
Definitely
That is
pass.
going to happen.
Never going to
That is going to happen. But I think I'm going to read some headlines. What I want to talk about is aliens.
Oh God.
So I've warned you for this.
That's good.
And I don't know if we can carry a conversation long enough on this, but maybe we can. This is going to be opinion based. I want you to clarify if there's anything biblical that
Okay.
you say, but this is going to be very opinion based.
Okay, you're a smart fella.
Yeah,
I think.
I like to think so.
Educated. You have
Yeah.
a degree in college. What is it? In
Construction management.
construction.
So,
So you're a smart fella.
I have a bachelor's degree.
You're a smart fella.
Yeah.
Why in God's name do you want to talk about aliens? What do you think aliens have to do with your life and your toilet and your child and Alaska and golf and what? Like something is in you that says, I have to talk about aliens. Why? What is it that is connected to you?
It's a hot topic
I know that.
right now.
But I'm asking for you personally.
For me personally, I enjoy being curious.
Okay.
So just to explore ideas. So conspiracy theories to me are fun. There's nothing more fun than sitting down with a bunch of educated people and talking about the earth being flat and them just losing their minds.
Are you a flat earther? Does your dad know?
My dad knows.
And what does he say? Now, obviously, I'm going to assume you are because you did a huge eye roll and a deep sigh. All I'm asking, you don't even have to say it on the podcast, but most flat earthers are like, duh, I'm in. You kind of cocked your head to the side, did a.
Okay.
So are you or are you not?
I want to believe in the flat earth.
Why? What's stopping you?
Well, first off, not flat completely. The domed earth.
Okay, a dome. Okay.
A domed earth. Yeah.
Okay.
What's stopping me? I don't know.
Okay.
I like the idea of it.
Okay.
I just and I really enjoy getting people riled up, right?
Just
because
you like just kind of
just poking the
goading
fire.
at the party, goad them, and then run to the kitchen and
Yeah,
get
exactly.
a Diet Coke.
Yeah. And
Hey, the earth is flat, and then you just walk out of the room.
And people can't handle it.
Especially around your father because they're like, you birthed that kid?
Yeah, even my boss, he's like, I don't know if I can trust you because if you really believe the earth's flat.
It's
you know?
okay.
And I have just gotten a lot of enjoyment out of it. But the more I think about it, the more I want to believe in it. You have theories on the earth. Are you a flat earther?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Yeah. See,
yeah.
So there's a very different response. Like, yeah, of course, you're confident in that.
Well, I'm confident in my opinion of what I believe.
Yeah.
I'm not confident in the sense of it. I think I'm right.
I'm
I'm confident in the sense of what I've looked at, what I've reasoned, my opinions. I tend to land on it is a snow globe.
okay. So kind of domed.
It's a snow globe. I think the earth is a snow globe. I think we are in a domed earth that is a container of life.
Yep.
And there is nothing outside of the life of the earth. It's the Lord's footstool. It's immovable.
And do you believe that it's just a dimension?
The earth is a dimension? No, it's the home of God. He will come and dwell here forever
On earth.
on earth. Heaven comes to earth.
Okay. I have questions about that. So explain.
And earth is the domain of the redemptive story. So anything outside of the earth.
Is there anything outside of the earth?
Well, yeah, we know that to be true.
So space is real.
Yeah, I mean, maybe not the way NASA would say it's real,
Yeah.
but yeah, space is real.
So here's where I will draw my line, and I think most people can probably relate to this, specifically if you've paid attention to anything in the last 6 years. And the fact that it's been 6 years is crazy. But I've started to be skeptical of everything I've been told to believe.
True.
And some of that's good, some of that's bad.
Okay.
But there's certainly on the flat Earth topic, I'm just skeptical. Why should I believe that it's a globe that's spinning how fast? Thousands of miles an hour in a
600
circle.
something thousand miles.
And it just seems like, and we've never taken a picture of the Earth from
True.
space. So like, I just have a lot of questions.
So aliens.
So I'm skeptical.
Okay.
So aliens,
Uh-huh.
right? So you just said we're in a domed in your worldview. You think we're in a snow globe. So those aliens wouldn't be extraterrestrial aliens. They would have just existed on Earth or under the Earth
Or in the heavens.
or in the heavens. Okay. So I'm going to read a couple headlines.
Okay.
And this is what's prompting this. These are all top news articles Mind you, we're in the middle of a war, and distractions are being used. Always, to draw attention to other things, right? I'm just reading the headline. J.D. Vance says he was obsessed with UFOs, believes aliens are actually demons. Here's another headline. UFO expert warns mystery crafts are outmaneuvering U.S. military in restricted airspace. Mm-hmm. Another one. Trump's alien files could shatter Christian beliefs. Churches should prepare for it. Last one. Trump keeps us up in the air with his hints of what's coming in the new batch of UFO files. So for the longest time as a child, and I mean, this probably extends into your childhood, we've always kind of speculated that Area 51 had contained an alien, or we had captured an alien or a spacecraft, and that's why Area 51 was this like off limits, can't go there. I think in all the skepticism that is kind of, I'm going to say, has been illuminated in the last 6 years, there's all kinds of crazy things, crazy conspiracies, and I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole, but portals in national parks and a lot of interviews with military people have been very popular, talking about seeing some of these crafts. There was one article I was reading that was talking about how these UFOs or beings or whatever might be living in the oceans, under the water. Hot take, where are you at on this?
Go back to podcast 2, where everything is true. And
so you can find your truth in everything.
Anything.
Yeah.
Because there's enough out there now with the world of digital. Mm-hmm. There's enough videos and interviews and podcasts of people that say the earth is flat, Antarctica is just the gateway to other worlds. That's why it's off limits and we can't go. We explored it.
Which is a whole topic right there.
There's a whole other topic, that there's the gateway to all the other worlds, to Asgard, to all of that's out there. And then there's the guy that has what he believes the Holy Spirit follows him around in an orb, and it's everywhere. It just if the astronauts are real, Neil Armstrong is real. No, I just watched one today where it wasn't Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin. It was Frank Morris and his brother that escaped from Alcatraz. They made a deal with the government.
Oh, they're not even who they say they are?
Well, the Alcatraz escapees were Buzz Aldrin, and
they renamed themselves.
And with a government deal. Hey, if you'll go through this with it. So even the moon being faked, is it fake? Is it not fake? There's videos that say we faked the whole thing. There's people that laugh at it and go, really, you really think we went to the moon? Then there's other videos like, you're a stupid idiot. We did go to the moon. And then there's the earth is round, you dumb flat people. Y'all just are stupid, because there's plenty of facts. And then all the flat people are like, well, here's our facts. Aliens.
Yep.
It's all a conspiracy. No, the government's about to release the alien files, and we're going to show you they're really real. There's these big water-headed people that are out there that we've been talking to for years and decades.
We're talking to them.
And who give us all of this download of information that we have now. They downloaded all this about AI to us. And
even there's some Hollywood movies that kind of point to what's being now released as quote unquote public files, which I've always kind of believed there's something about what Hollywood is showing us, that there's some truth hidden in all of their stuff.
A conspiracy theorist says that those who rule the world are obligated to tell us the truth in some way.
Yep. They can't lie.
So that's what I mean. I mean, gosh, go back to the 1970s. I was born in 65. So 1980, I was at least 15 by then. So 1980, to sit around and go, I believe in aliens, the only thing we really had was Area 51. Is it legit? Is it not?
And I would say most of my childhood, that was the same thing. It was
there's aliens, there's UFOs, there's, and it's just, you were stupid to think it.
And the stories were fake, and that's so crazy.
And aliens, the only thing in the Christian world we argued it, aliens are demons, and demons, they show up as aliens. And now it's everywhere.
Do you think a demon can manifest physically?
No, I think a demon has to manifest
into something.
I don't know. Let me ponder that a minute.
Yeah.
Here's what I think. I think the way we've been taught about supernatural beings outside of God is the word angels, right? And then in our brain, we naturally go, angels have wings.
Yep.
And they can't mate with humans. They're just these winged beings, but they're not. Nowhere in the Bible it said an angel has wings.
Sure. And we know that there were fallen angels that were put down on earth.
Well, in the angel realm of angels, they were sent to appear to help humans and to do the work of God on the earth. And they show up as humans.
Yeah.
Sodom and Gomorrah, they show up and knock on the door to Lot, and they look like humans. And the funny thing about it is, you say, well, supernatural beings can't have sex, right? Because that's an Nephilim. Like,
well, is that real or is that not real?
well, what I'm going to say to the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, when the two angels show up to Lot and go, you need to get your kids out of here. We got to go now.
Yeah.
And then the town shows up and knocks on the door and says, hey, send these two fellas out. We want to have sex with them.
Wow.
And he's like, no. So if they were just nothing more than spirit beings, there would be nothing in the lustful. Yeah, that would say, I need to have sex with whatever that is.
Yeah.
So I think angels have the ability to have bodies that look human and maybe even have some way to have a sexual reproduction, excuse me, in some kind of spirit being way.
Sure. So there's something physical. They're transformative, maybe.
Yeah, the angels that are used by God are transformative, meaning they can show up.
Yep.
And they can
disappear.
They can show up and disappear, and they show up in a human body.
Yeah.
They show up. Where's the other one with Abraham? I think it was. They show up and they do their work. And,
they showed up to Mary.
Well, yeah.
And I mean,
the angel Gabriel. When we think a big angel that's
with
wings,
big flapping wings. No. Yeah.
So angels appear, Hebrews 1:4, as servants of God that come to do his work.
Yeah.
And it says, be careful because you might entertain one and not know it. In other words,
you never know when you're talking to an angel.
Right, because they're going to manifest. Now, it's seemingly on the dark side that whatever angels were in the spirit world, the dark side, when the angels left their estate, so to speak, they don't seemingly in the Bible have the right to show up as a human to do whatever. They tend to need some type of, it's almost like the earth is off limits to them.
Sure. Even though it's their domain.
Yes, because they've been judged. And so the only way that they can really accomplish a task is they have to have some type of physical body to work through.
Yeah.
So an animal, a human, and once we would call it possession, once they manifest that human, they can use that human to do what they need to do.
Yeah.
That's why when Jesus was talking to the demoniac, and he's going to tell him, leave, and they said, God, come on, can't we just have the pigs, right?
Yeah. So he sends them off into the pigs' bodies.
And the reason is what's believed by some is that demons have to have some type of physical connection to this earth to really work. They need your body, they need your mind, they need your hands to work the perversions of their fallen state. They have to have access to this planet. So through using humans, I think that's what we would say the Antichrist is. It's the
manifestation of a spirit into a
human body.
Yeah.
And the reason I would believe this highly, I believe it, is because Jesus with Judas Iscariot, when they're sitting around the table, the very last day of Jesus' life, and they're talking about who's going to betray you. And he says, well, the person that dips with me in the cup, and Judas does. And he says, Judas, just go and do what you got to do. And it says that the disciples said, well, he's got some money stuff to handle. But I forget which gospel says it. But one gospel says immediately Satan filled his heart.
Wow.
So, excuse me.
Wow.
So the intimation is that Satan was going to do his work, but the way he had to do his work is he needed to enter into a body
to pull it off.
Yeah. Now, I don't know why with Jesus in the wilderness, it just says Satan showed up and tempted him. I don't know what kind of spirit being Lucifer was, so I can deduce this from a spirit beings is they obviously can play on emotion and mind.
Yeah.
Although they can't
without being physical.
Without being physical and possessing me, they can play on my lust, they can play on my mental state, they can play on my physical state.
Yeah.
And that would be Peter when he says, "Look, you can't die," and Jesus looks dead at Peter and goes, "Get behind me, Satan."
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think that Satan was possessing Peter.
Sure.
But
it was a spirit.
So we can say that spirit beings that are often demonic, I don't think they can just show up and start burning your house down, so to speak. But it's seemingly they can show up and plant thoughts and work through the thoughts and work through lust and brokenness and hurt and pain, sometimes to the point that they literally will possess you. I don't even think that's up for debate anymore.
Yeah.
I think spirit possession is pretty much fundamental across the board in religion, that demonic spirits do inhabit humans. And I think that can be an animal. I think it can be any type animal. So it's rather strange of angels on God's, I'll say God's team, angels on God's side of the fence seemingly work off of his will to come and go at will to earth and show up as a human to accomplish something. But in the dark side, the angels that would show up as spirit beings need some way to pull that off.
Yeah.
That's why Jesus can take authority over them, and they end up running into the water. That's why water baptism is so powerful, because demons understand water is their ultimate judgment.
Yeah. Okay, so to that point, we talked about that. You've actually preached about water being judgment.
Mm-hmm.
Can you, I don't think we've talked about it on the podcast, can you kind of go through that whole water judgment thing? And then I want to come back to, even in some of the stuff that's being released about these UFOs and quote unquote aliens, part of what's going on in the storytelling that is being released by the government is that they live in the ocean and they disappear into the ocean. So can you break down that? You did a whole message on it, but can you give us like a 10-minute synopsis of water being judgment? Help everybody understand what that is, because when you explain that to me, I was like, wow, that's really powerful.
Okay, I'll try. Yeah,
do your best, and if there's something I want to fill in, I will.
So here's my thinking over the whole thing. God creates a universe, right? And in that universe is all kind of spirit beings and other gods.
It was
Psalm 82.
Chaos.
Well, no,
okay,
the
so
original.
the
He
original.
just creates this beautiful work of spirit beings and gods. And Psalm 82, that he sits with the gods to rule the world,
So
the
there
universe.
are gods.
Yes, to rule the world. And earth was created. And my belief is Lucifer, that we now call Satan, according to Isaiah, was one of the top level of God's creation in the spirit being world.
Yep.
He decides
If there's a board of heaven, Satan's on the board.
yeah, and he's doing his job,
Yeah.
which is to govern the earth, to rule the earth, because God established the earth for the praise of his glory.
He's on the leadership team.
And so he's doing his thing. He decides to rebel. So God judges Lucifer's now kingdom of rebellion. And the way God...
So you think Lucifer was over the earth in his
Before
in his
Adam and
role?
Eve, yes.
Before Adam and Eve.
Yes.
Okay, so
before there
there's
was a human.
all these other gods, there's all this other stuff going on, but what Lucifer was
Supernatural beings
responsible
everywhere.
for was the earth.
Yes.
Okay.
Supernatural beings have been created, and God's got all
And
these...
they just exist in space, in the ether.
I think they're spirit beings. I think they can go from the throne room level of God down to earth, and they can...
And do you think that's just another dimension that we
yes.
have no access to?
Yes, just
Okay.
like Jacob's ladder,
It's
where
not
he
like-
sees angels
not
coming and going.
space.
Right. It's another dimension.
It's a different dimension.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's which is a whole different. That's oh man, you really go far down this hole.
So my belief is God created it all. It was perfect. Lucifer rebelled. So God judges it.
Yeah.
And God in Genesis 1-2, my belief, an opinion, and it's definitely an opinion because everybody's got their own belief.
Yeah. Please take what's about to be said. If this isn't aligned with something like this, is not salvation.
Yeah.
I'll
I'll just say I believe what I believe strongly.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
you believe it, I don't care.
Or don't.
So Genesis 1, God creates it. Genesis 2, it goes awry. Lucifer goes awry. God judges it because it says, and God, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth was without form and void. Jeremiah the prophet says God cannot create things form and void.
Okay.
So something happened, and we see
So
that
so Lucifer's in charge of it. It has no form and void. Something happens where God's like, okay,
God judges it.
I got to take this over.
God just judges it with water. Everything gets judged with water.
Yeah.
All right. So Genesis 1, verse 2, everything is dark, empty, void, and covered with water, which is not the character of God.
Yeah.
God is light, not darkness.
So this is let's just say Satan, the devil, whatever you want to call him, Lucifer. He falls, and then this judgment comes over earth because it was under his management.
Yes.
And
the reason I believe it says darkness covered
Yeah.
is the Bible says, I believe again in Ezekiel 28 and Isaiah, Exodus 28, Ezekiel 28, and then Isaiah 14, I think it is. I'm rolling because I wasn't planning on talking about this.
Yeah.
But my belief is the reason darkness covered the earth is the Bible says that Lucifer was an anointed cherub that covered. And so his job was to cover God's glory on the earth. In other words, God established the heavens and the earth, Genesis 1. Lucifer, I'm putting you in charge to cover the earth with my glory. You are the manifestation of me
over that earth.
Because Lucifer was a light bearer.
Yeah.
So that's what light bearer means. So God placed Lucifer there as a light bearer to manifest his glory on the earth.
God's glory.
God's glory.
Lucifer goes, hey, man, I'm pretty
I want
great.
it for myself.
Yep.
So God says, no, I'm going to remove the glory. So he covers it and judges it. Well, I believe Lucifer, because he was over it, covers the whole thing in darkness, because that's what he would do.
Yep.
He's an anointed cherub that covers. So he covers all of God's creation in darkness. God judges it all with water, so everything is dead. Here's what's interesting about Genesis day 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7 in the book of Genesis. Day 1, God never creates water.
It was just there.
It's there. Because he even says, I have to call the land up out of the water. And I often tell people there's no water ever created in days 1 through 7. It was already in existence.
Interesting.
So therefore, days 1 through 7 in our Bible have to be some cataclysmic altering of a problem that happened to restore something back. And so what's the first thing restored back? God puts light in. Darkness flees, day 1. God separates the heavens above from the below, puts water above and water below.
Yep.
That are going to become judgment.
But the water was already there. He just separated, didn't create it.
Yes.
Okay.
And then he calls up land, that's the earth. So we can at least assume from Genesis that water was used to judge something of Lucifer's kingdom, and then God restores it all up back out of water, and then a beautiful thing God does again. This time he creates another being of light, except a being of light that's in his image.
Even better.
And gives this being of light dominion over the new earth.
Yep.
That being,
it's the closest equivalent to God created was Adam.
So that's what he did with Lucifer. Lucifer is a being of light.
Yep.
He rebelled. He went dark and rogue. I judged it with water. So God calls it all back up, calls up the land out of the water, creates it, gets all new animals there. So there's water, there's land, there's trees, there's animals, all. And I've created another being of light in my image. And I put that being of light in and I call him Adam. And I tell him, you now have dominion. Ticks off Lucifer, right? Because I was a being of light.
I was in charge, yeah.
And now this being of light's a little better than me because they're in God's image and I wasn't.
It's like you're the boss's favorite and someone new comes in and you got demoted.
So what Lucifer does is the same thing.
You also screwed up, but yeah.
He leads a rebellion with Adam, and Adam now becomes a being of darkness, not light. He loses his glory, so to speak.
He lost his eternal life.
He lost glory, and now he's a dark being. By Genesis 6, here's where the aliens and demons and all the things start coming to play in what we're talking about.
Yeah.
In Genesis 6, what we find is that every human on earth has been to a level of perversion to where the seed of all humanity is perverted.
Yep.
And there's only one family left that's not perverted.
Which part of that perversion was this intermixing of angels and humans.
I believe it was every human.
Yeah.
Because the moment God says in Genesis 3, the seed of the woman is going to crush the head of the serpent.
Yeah.
Lucifer decided to corrupt every seed, every womb.
So Noah's family is the last pure human family.
Yes.
Everyone else on earth is
already
a
corrupted.
Nephilim.
Yes. Already corrupted. And there's no way a woman
corrupted in their creation.
Yes, because they could not birth a human.
Yeah.
And so that's why
they birthed a Nephilim.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why every time there comes a move of God, there was always a design to kill the babies.
Yep.
Moses' day.
Yep.
Because Lucifer is always after the womb.
Yeah.
If he can have the womb, he has the kingdom.
He's in control.
If he can have a woman's womb, he's in control of the kingdom. So all this, abortion's a whole other thing. So abortion, though, we call it reproductive rights and human rights.
It's worship of the devil.
In the sense of that it's giving control over a woman's womb into a darkness, because everywhere the womb of a woman ripped out a child, though, was for Lucifer's convenience, right? Yep. So we won't go there, but
that's a whole.
So what does God do? The Bible says that God opens the waters above and the waters below, and he floods it, right?
Yeah.
So he floods and kills everything.
So water again comes in to judge creation.
So God says, then I'm never going to do this again. Gives the
Yep.
rainbow, right? Never going to use water again.
Yep.
And so to judge
So,
people.
so at that point, do you believe that all the Nephilim are killed, or are
No, I think some still exist because they were spiritual beings, and I
it was
think
this mix?
and I think spirit beings still try to inhabit because they show up different places. They show up in the book of Daniel because Gabriel says, "I tried to come bring you an answer, but the spirit of
So
Persia
it
was
didn't
fighting."
kill them.
Okay, real quick. Could you define for everyone what you would say a Nephilim is?
The mix between a spirit being and a human.
Yep.
It's the offspring.
Yep.
So you have
It's
a
found
spirit
like twice
being
in the Bible.
You have a spirit being that mates with a human, and the resulting birth out of that is a half God, half man, which is Greek mythology. That's
Yep.
kind of where Greek mythology comes: half horse, half man, half whatever. So,
Poseidon lives.
well, I think all those gods did. I think they were
Yeah.
gods over the ocean. They were gods over the sun, gods over the wind. Even in the book of Revelation, it says that God releases the 4 angels over the 4 winds. I
Yep.
mean, so yeah, there were spirit beings that did all these things for God, for his glory,
Until it turned.
until it turned. So
Yeah.
we have judgment again in Genesis 6. Then what a lot of people believe is that half-breed human,
Yep.
when they got judged in Genesis 6 and those half-breed humans' bodies died, the soul of those became demons.
Okay.
So that's where the thinking of many people believe demons came from. It was the mating of angels with humans.
Yep.
And then once the flood came in
And these
Genesis
are
6.
these are fallen angels
Yes.
too, right? Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Once they corrupted the seed of man, and I'll tell you what I believe in a minute about that. They corrupted the seed of man. God wipes them all out, right?
Yep.
And then when God wipes them all out, many people believe that those
The spiritual part of that being.
become what we would call demons
demon.
because they're looking for a body.
Yeah.
I had one. I was birthed in one from this spirit union of a
So I'm
spirit
constantly
being.
searching for one.
I need one.
Yeah.
And so that's where a lot of thinking is that demons actually originated.
Yeah.
We'll follow this through because what we find is when Abraham and God have their conversation, God said, "Come here, I want to show you something." And he points over to this land. And he says, "I'm going to show you a land over here. It's a land flowing with milk and honey, and I'm going to give it to you." All right? So that was way back here with Abraham. That doesn't really happen until Moses takes him out, right? Quite a while later, I think
long
1,300
time.
years later,
Yeah.
maybe. So I guessed on that. I threw the thought. I thought
It was a
that's
long
what- It's a
time.
long. So, but imagine if you're Lucifer and you hear God say to Abraham, "Hey, come over here. I'm going to give you a land. It's my land. And this is going to be for my glory and my people." And he shows him that land, right? What would you do if you were Lucifer? You would go to that land and pervert
Everything you can.
everything in that land.
Yeah.
In other words, I'm going to get the jump on you.
Yeah.
I'm going to pervert everything.
Because
in
what
Canaan.
God says is true, and it will become true. So
gonna be-
I've got to beat you.
I got to get ahead of this
Yeah.
game. So Lucifer, I think, runs ahead and demonically, this is going to be so out there, but it's an opinion. I believe he demonically possessed every human that lived in Canaan to the best of his ability, like he did in Genesis 6.
Okay.
So I'm going to pervert all of them.
So
by the time God's people,
all these spirits looking for a body, I'm getting my spirits together and I'm going there to put them in bodies.
and I'm going to go ahead and inhabit this land of Canaan.
Yep.
And now we know something went on because
Something bad.
when they show up, the Israelites say, "Dude, there's giants there.
Yeah.
There's something there
Something-
we've never seen before."
Something's in that water that. Yeah.
Okay, so I believe that's why God says, "Look, when you go in, you got to kill them all.
Yeah.
You got to kill babies,
Every single one.
everybody, babies and all."
So
it wasn't that God's a baby killer.
It comes to a judgment of
These aren't human. These are
Okay,
not human.
interesting.
These are not humans like you think they're humans. Lucifer has perverted this entire land.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to kill them. You cannot mate with them. You cannot sleep with them. You cannot have children with them. You must kill every one of them and drive them out.
Yeah.
And every time they made an agreement with them to keep them around, it went bad. Every single time. So now that Moses is coming over, right, and Egypt is coming, what does God use to get rid of it? He uses water.
Again.
He kills all of Egyptian, which is a type of sin,
Yep.
with water. So now fast forward to the New Testament. In the New Testament, Jesus shows up, and water baptism becomes this thing we kind of pick up in Matthew 3. And it says that John baptized Jesus, and when he came up out of the water, the Spirit descended on him and landed on him. My belief is that the reason Jesus was baptized is he was the creator who had become flesh. He was the judge who has now come to bring mercy and justice, goes under the water for judgment, and comes back up out of the water as resurrected new life, right?
Okay.
As a symbol. Well, now we can find no wonder when Jesus walks on water, it's a statement to every demonic being.
He's over judgment.
He's over all our judgment.
Yeah.
This is why when he throws them into the pigs, they immediately run in the water because they admit the guy that just put us in these pigs controls this whole thing. So now let's just go to the water and kill ourselves because
he's
that's
going
where
to judge
we
us
belong.
anyway. Yeah.
So my belief is that the dark world, the home of Lucifer, so to speak, the dead, is the ocean.
So I'm going to think about that next week when I'm sitting on the beach.
I believe that's why we've never explored the depths of the ocean.
There's a lot of interesting facts about that. I mean,
I believe
if you
that's
believe
why
in
the Bible
space-
says in Revelation the sea had to give up its dead. I believe that's why it says there will be no more need for sea.
there's something about the ocean that we don't want to know.
I think it's
I've
a
always
judgment.
believed that.
I think the ocean is God's judgment on the kingdom, and it sits here as judgment on the kingdom. And that's God's way of saying, I've judged it, and you're never going to get to the bottom of it, and you're never going to see what I see. It's pitch black. It's total dark.
Total darkness.
You're never going to get there. And yet, if we do, however deep we can get, with some kind of machine now, we do see some really weird creatures.
Really weird.
Right?
Like some scary looking creatures.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That if those things exist now,
It ain't a koi pond down there.
what imaginative could God have created in the original before he started judging all this stuff of what animals really would have looked like, or these spirit beings would have looked like? We kind of think a spirit being is a cone-headed green monster.
Yeah.
But the reality of it is we're only speculative of
Sure.
maybe that's what they look like, because when you look at some of those fish that are deep in the ocean, you're like, nah, that can't be real. And it's real.
And it's real.
Like, it's just okay. So God's playing some games with some of these animals here. So I think the reason water is a judgment, water is the judgment on Lucifer's kingdom, water is the judgment over sin, water baptism. Jesus walked on the water to say that I have overcome the judgment of sin. Pigs went in the water filled with demons because demons know water is where they're going to be judged. And I believe that the place of the dead,
The kingdom of darkness
is under the ocean.
Would that be the
I
kingdom
believe,
of darkness?
yes, I believe Sheol is under the ocean.
Interesting. Do you think is Sheol and hell the same thing?
A place of the dead.
Okay.
And I believe the place of the dead is under the ocean.
Do you believe in a lake of fire?
Yeah, for sure. But that's after.
That's after.
That's after all of it. The lake of
So-
fire is not right when you die.
Yeah.
Right when you die, you go if you don't know God, you go to the place of judgment, which is the place of dead, and you wait.
So
And
you're under the ocean.
I think so.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think so.
Is it wet?
I have no clue.
You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm just thinking about what does that really mean?
I have no
What does
clue.
it smell like?
but I think the earth sits upon foundation stones, and I go back to the earth is a fixed entity in space.
It's not moving.
It's not moving,
Yeah.
and the sun and the moon,
So there's layers to it.
the sun and the moon rotate around us, and under the foundations of the earth is where Lucifer's kingdom exists and has been judged.
In complete darkness.
And I believe when the new heaven and new earth come and the sea is obliterated and there is no more sea, I believe we will see the entire earth. And,
that's going to be magnificent.
well, the Bible even says, I haven't worked this out yet,
That's
but
crazy.
the Bible even says we will look and see
Well, look,
Lucifer. We
can you
will,
go-
we will
can
be
you
able
go-
to see Lucifer.
Break that down. I've never heard that about the ocean going away. Can you break that down?
Let me see where.
Find me
it's-
some scripture or something,
Okay.
and then break that down because I'm just trying to wrap. Okay, if the ocean's this place of judgment, why do I like to go there, and why do I feel calm when I'm there? That's an interesting question.
For sure.
It's
Revelation 21:1. Then I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth had passed away, and there was no longer any sea.
there was no longer any sea. Okay, and you kept going. You were saying that some people believe that we'll be able to see Lucifer.
Yeah, for sure. They will. I think it's Prophet Isaiah says we will look and say, "Is that the one that led the nations in deception?"
Wow.
And then the Bible also says, "Outside the city are the dogs," and it's a weird thought that we will be able to see those being punished.
So are we going to see that from the New Jerusalem?
Uh-huh.
So we'll be looking down on earth from the New Jerusalem.
That's what some people believe.
Some people believe. Yeah.
That's an opinion.
Yeah.
The other opinion is all these dead people are annihilated and they just go into ash and they never exist anymore.
I've heard both things on
Right.
that. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. So let's go back to that's great. Thank you.
So my opinion is Lucifer gets judged. God creates another light being, Adam. He falls. God judges his. And out of the judgment, hear this, out of the judgment of Lucifer's kingdom, he loses access to the earth. God gives Adam and Eve, and then Adam and Eve lose it, and Lucifer becomes the god of the world,
Of the
right?
earth. Yeah.
And so now Lucifer perverts all God's kids.
Yep.
Genesis 6, God says,
He's
no.
trying to outrun God.
Yeah. He says, no, not going to happen. And so demons and aliens, however I want to look at it,
Yeah. How do you want to look at it?
I don't think it matters how you define it. I think it's a spirit being looking for some.
So do you think these things that are being seen, captured, recorded, etc., are real physical things?
I think it could be.
It could
I
be.
think there's
Yeah.
demons that are spirits, and I think there also could be other beings God has created that we've just never seen.
We've never explored, especially if they're outside the wall. But,
So
but
here's
definitely at the depths of the ocean.
Here's what could go.
Yeah.
God could have, in the beginning, could have just created a vast array of beings
Just all kinds of creation.
for his glory.
Whatever he wanted to imagine.
But Earth is specifically for the redemptive story.
Yeah.
And the redemptive story is the story of God.
Yes.
So Earth becomes the unmovable. It's all about this. I'm coming back to Earth. God comes to Earth. Heaven comes to Earth. God dwells with us and among us. He's Emmanuel. The entire redemptive story is like this. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Like, wow, that's great. That's huge. That's a big universe. Yeah. But by the time we get to verse 3, we're like, okay, the rest of the 66 books is about Earth. Like,
Nothing else matters.
yeah, like we're just going to stick here.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Now, if you read the book of Enoch.
Yeah. Have you read the Book of Enoch?
Yes.
Okay.
There's a lot of other things that Book of Enoch brings out that he's like, oh, this is happening.
Do you think we should read the Book of Enoch?
I don't think it matters. It's historical. I mean,
Yeah.
I
Do
don't
you
know if
think
it's
it has
factual.
value?
Yeah, sure. I don't.
Beyond just a story.
I think it's factual
Because it
in
was
some
removed
ways.
from the Bible when?
I don't really know that fact.
I think there's a date. I'm going to look
But
it up.
I think it's
I see it.
I don't know if I would build my doctrine on it, but I don't think it hurts to read other ideas or other thoughts. And I don't think I would stand up and start a church on the Book of Enoch and say, hey, the Book of Enoch says this, you should do it. But I'm not scared to read it and go, wow, that's pretty cool. And it seems to line up with some other teachings. And
Yeah.
now, there's some people say the whole Book of Enoch's fake. It's demonic. Don't read it.
Yeah, it was removed from the main canon during the Council of Laodicea in 363 CE.
So the Council of Laodicea, I mean, I come, I just land on their spirit beings.
So
and
here's a theory. I just put this together just listening to what you just said. So one way you could look at these quote unquote aliens is that it's a spirit possessing a creature from the ocean that we've never seen or explored because they need a body of some kind, and then they can kind of do whatever they want.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Do you think they can create?
No.
So what do you think a UFO is?
You mean create new beings?
No, create things.
Oh, I'm sure they could create things. It's evident we're not living here in some brand new system of thinking. If you go back and look at drawings on caves and historical documents, almost every culture from way back shows all of these drawings of these alien-like huge Anunnaki Nephilim beings that obviously came down and did something with humans.
Yeah.
Whether they worshiped them or worked with them almost every culture has something similar to that.
Sure.
Right? So,
okay, let me throw out another theory, and this is just straight rabbit holing at this point. We got 10 minutes left. So do you think this lost city of Atlantis could be Satan's kingdom then?
I mean, I don't know. That would all be speculation.
Yeah. I don't know. It's
Anything
just
like
an
that
idea.
would be speculation.
Why would their city like that exist under the ocean? But it would if that's where his...
Well, think this way.
Yeah.
One of the things that really messes us up is when we read the Bible, we read it in a very linear fashion, chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. And we don't understand that sometimes between chapters, there's like a 500-year
Gap.
gap,
Yeah.
right? Like,
They actually make a Bible now, the chronological Bible, which I think is more helpful because it just puts the Bible in chronological
just
order
take the
from
story of Noah that we've been talking about.
Yeah.
Genesis 6, it shows up, and then Genesis 7, and Moses was 600. 100 years took place between chapter 6 and 7.
Just like that.
100 years.
And you read it in 2 seconds.
I've been alive for 61.
Yeah.
And I read that in less than 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Now ponder this, and this may understand why demons and different things show up all over the world, like pyramids and things of that nature. We would say
That don't make
aliens.
sense.
Yeah, like how did
that get created?
Yeah, how does this over here, in Machu Picchu line up with what's over here in Indonesia? God, they have the same systems.
Yeah.
Ponder this. So God creates Adam and Eve, right?
Yep.
And then Genesis 3, the next chapter over,
Yep.
they sin.
We don't know how long happened.
I have an opinion.
Okay, cool. I like
No, we don't. We just go right into chapter 3, day 8, they sinned.
But I don't believe that happened
No.
that fast, right?
Here's what I think. I think God created Adam and Eve and said, multiply and take over the earth. I think Adam and Eve obeyed. I don't think they disobeyed on day 8. I'm going to eat, don't eat the fruit, day 7, day 8. I want to eat the fruit, right?
Yeah, it does. There's no way.
I think they begin to mate and have sex in union, and they created a population of humans that begin to go because that's what God told them.
Yeah.
Populate the whole earth.
The whole earth.
Now they're eternal beings because they can't die until they eat the tree.
Then they're dead.
I think that they worshiped God. I think they gave him great worship. I think they were doing exactly what they were told to do. Bring me glory. I believe that's why we see the Tower of Babel.
Yep.
They're trying in a broken way to do what they were doing with all these pyramids and everything. I believe all the pyramids and the things we see, ponder this. God creates Adam and Eve. They populate the entire world.
Yep.
They could have lived 5,000 years before they ate the tree. They could have lived 1,000 years before. We wouldn't even be counting time.
There's no such thing as time.
Why count
they're
time
eternal.
if you don't die? Right.
Yeah.
So the only reason I would need to count time would be the moment you sin, you die,
That's
start
when
counting.
time starts.
And that's the redemptive story.
Yeah.
So between Genesis 1 and 2, it could have been thousands of years of humans doing what God told them to do.
Yeah.
And Lucifer's watching it going, oh my God,
I got to
what's
do
going
something.
on? They're all over the place. They're multiplying like rabbits.
Yeah.
How can they do this? I can't multiply. God has created a being that can multiply and reproduce after itself. So Lucifer goes out into the world. We know this to be true because in Revelation, it says he goes to deceive the nations.
Yep.
I believe these humans, Adam and Eve, created nations of people that just went all over the world and populated the world.
Can I ask a question in there? Do you believe in Pangea?
Meaning
one world. Like when God created land, it was just one big massive land that separated over time. The tectonic plate theory is kind of what solidifies that.
I think it was all connected until
I think it was all
Noah's
connected.
flood.
Okay, cool. I do too.
Yeah.
And then as the earth cracked and the water came
Yeah.
up, that's how we separated into.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So
Yep.
I think they could walk.
So
no
the
problem.
garden
They
was the garden. It
Yeah.
was land.
Yeah.
It's just all of it.
Yeah.
That's kind of my.
And so when they got
Mental.
booted, and before that, they're just out populating the earth. And
Yeah.
you say, well, how? That's a long walk. Well, if you live 3,000 or 4,000 years,
Also, it's a long walk for a 6-foot tall human. You don't know how big or small they were. I mean,
and
like,
when we do know this as well, we do know that according to Jesus' resurrected body,
Yeah.
which was glorified, he could come and go at will.
yeah,
He could
So
show up
could-
in a room
He
and
could
disappear.
transport.
And we know that to be true because Philip transported.
Yep.
In the book of Acts.
Yep.
He was here
He
one
was
minute, he was gone the
gone
next.
the next. Yeah.
So we would have to
So there's a lot
assume-
of things that you can't just think through the 2026 human.
right. So in that
But
original
also,
creation,
they
those
could have been like massive.
those humans could have maybe transported because of a dimension of time versus
Yeah.
space. And
I
they
don't
could have-
think they were 6 feet tall. I think they were.
Well, everybody says we'll be bodies like Jesus, and they go, it'll be really cool, man. We just appear in a room, you know. I'm like, well, he did. He appeared and he left. So why couldn't Adam do that when he
Sure.
was first done? He could appear. So could have been before the fall in this glorified image of God body that these humans just populated the whole earth, and then they got corrupted.
Yeah.
And God's like, every one of them but Noah now is perverted. And so let's start over, so to speak.
Yeah.
And he judges the whole earth. I think that's why we can find out in Midwest America, there's artwork and relics.
It doesn't make sense.
That lines up with something in Africa, that lines up with something in Europe, that lines up with something in South America. And it's like, wait a minute. They have the same drawings of the same things. How did these people... My thinking is they could have lived thousands and thousands of years before Genesis 3.
Yeah.
And then Adam finally goes, I'm done. And so God's like, okay. And as soon as the judgment comes and they sin and rebellion is let in,
Yeah.
I think Lucifer just goes, hey day, fellas, let's take this place
Go.
over. And so Genesis 6, God comes along several thousand years later and nukes the whole place and says, let's start over with another human called Noah and build my kingdom. And so I think when Jesus shows up and says, come on, I've been trying to build a kingdom the whole time. I'm trying to give you all my power and my glory. You are now beings of light. You and I are beings of light. We're the light of the world, the salt of the earth. And we're called to take authority over all of those spirits. Yet many of God's people are ruled by perverted thoughts, perverted actions. That's why I said, let's talk about perversion in the church.
Yeah.
Because all Lucifer has done is just come back and say, I don't care about you Christians. Watch, I'll do the same thing to you that I've done my whole life.
This is what I do.
I'll pervert your thoughts. I'll pervert your marriages. I'll pervert your sexuality. I'll pervert your children. I'll pervert your movies, your music. I'll just pervert everything so that these beings of light that are in the image of God, it won't matter. I'll pervert them all.
Yeah. And that's definitely the world we live in today.
And so we say, well, do we see demons and do I believe in demons? Sure. And do I believe a demon and an alien could be coexisting the same type of being? Well, sure. But at the end of the day are you becoming a habitation for that being to do its work? In what you watch, what you listen to, how you talk, are you giving access to the dark world to pull off their work? And then how many Christians do you know literally wake up and go, I'm expecting God to send angels to help me? I mean, we use that in a prayer. We just pray that the Lord give you angels to watch over you. But I don't believe that. That's some prayer I pray. But like, do you really believe that there could be a spirit being that could show up with your child when your child goes to school and follow your child everywhere your child goes? That God has assigned these spirit beings, not winged creatures, but beings that are angels to watch over you, to bid God's work and to do God's work. And on the dark side, do you believe that there's spirit beings that are doing the devil's work? Every Christian is going to agree without fail that the dark side exists.
And it plays.
Hollywood, music, perversion,
I've always struggled with people who say they don't believe in God, but they believe in evil. I'm like, how can you believe in one
But
side
then you
and not
turn
the
around
other?
and tell that same Christian, okay,
Yeah.
you believe Beyonce is whatever. You believe Jay-Z or whatever.
Taylor Swift's the devil.
Anything you want to pick on the dark side. Oh my God, look at the Met Gala that just happened. Look at Hollywood, how perverted they are. So you obviously believe that darkness can infiltrate music, phones,
But
apps.
do you not believe that goodness can?
But you don't wake up and believe that
There's a
you
light.
literally are falling apart because your kid's going to school because you've never taught them that a spirit being called an angel goes with them
And it might look like another kid.
and camps round about you and watches over you and protects you and keeps you. And most are,
That's challenging. Yeah.
most don't because we don't.
Yeah. The question being, do you really believe it?
I do.
Yeah.
I tell my girls all the time.
No,
that
I'm not
praying
questioning
God gives
you.
His
I
angels to
think
watch
even
over
in
you.
my head, yeah, sure, I believe it, but do I really believe it? I think
And
that's hard.
I'll give you a take on it. I mean,
Yeah.
again, go find you a YouTube video. There's thousands of them on people that have, quote, met angels. Years ago, it was 1983. I was 18, graduated high school. Me and a friend named John, who pastors up in Chattanooga, headed to Dallas to go to Bible school. We were at Bible school from September to December. We're coming home for Christmas. It's Dallas, Texas, and snowing like crazy.
In Texas.
I'm in a Toyota Tercel, packed to the gill coming home. There's no cell phones, nothing. John and I are going to follow each other with CB radios, maybe before your time.
No, I remember.
And that's I'm Mountain Man. I forget who he was. And we're following each other. Well, I lose John. And I go, oh, my God, where's John? I did not know John wrecked. It was snowing so bad.
You were in front?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that John's car went off the road. And I got too far because CB's could only go about a
only
mile.
had so much
a
distance.
mile at best, the ones we had.
Yeah.
I didn't know. So I go to slow down and go back to try to find him. Well, when I go to slow down and get off the exit, there's a guy changing his tire on the exit.
Okay.
And I go, oh God, I don't want to hit him because it's snowing and icy.
Yeah.
And I tap the brakes. Should not have done it. And I'm starting to slide right into this guy changing his tire. I'm going to kill him.
Yeah.
I was running 45.
The brakes were the problem.
Yeah, I should have
You
never.
could have just kept going.
But he scared me, so I tapped the brake.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
And I slid around him, and I went off the embankment. I went down an embankment. I hit the huge exit sign with big, huge feet, metal. So I think it's 25 feet high. I ran over it. It popped my left front tire, my left rear tire, and ripped a hole from my front fender to my rear fender all the way down.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of hanging in a ditch like this.
Yep.
I get out like, okay, I'm okay. I was only running 40 miles an hour. And by the time I hit it, I was running even slower.
Yeah.
So I was okay. And I got out like, whew, okay. And I look at my car and I'm like, oh God, it ruined my whole side.
Yeah.
Front fender well all the way to the rear, just a hole ripped from the metal of the thing. I'm like, okay, well, I can still get home.
Yep.
I look.
Just need some tires.
No, I didn't even know the tires were flat. I look, oh my God, both tires. I have nothing to do. My car is loaded with stuff anyway from college.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh God, what do I do? Freezing cold.
Yep.
Snow just pouring. I'm on I-20.
Wow.
And I'm about 35 miles outside of Dallas on I-20 in the snow. Don't know where my friend is. My car, I just turn it off and lock the doors, and I start trying to climb up this hill. I'm sliding back down because it's so snowy. I get up on the exit, and I go, okay, well, I got to figure out what to do.
Yep.
So
No cell phones. Yeah.
No, God, no.
There's no one to call.
So I get up on top of back on the highway, and trucks and everything are coming. I mean, they're all rolling, right?
Yeah.
It's Dallas. And I go, okay, well, I'm going to freeze to death. I got to get back to Dallas and just start over somehow.
Yeah.
Find somebody. So I run across I-20, jump the guardrail, and run to the I-20 that's going back west to get in. And I pray a prayer. God, please help me. Whatever you do, please help me. I don't know what I'm going to do. And as soon as I prayed that prayer, a van, I would not encourage this with anybody. This van just slowly pulls over. And I just like, well, I got to get in. I'm going to freeze to death if I don't. I don't really care. But I had zero fear.
No anxiety.
None.
No, yeah.
I didn't even think I could be getting mugged or
Nothing.
It was just this.
Oh,
God.
here's the delivery.
Somebody's going to, I wasn't even thinking angel or nothing. I'm just thinking, oh my God, somebody stopped and saw me.
Yeah.
I jump in a van, sweet guy. He says, what's up? I said, well, I had a wreck and man, both tires. And he goes, oh, don't worry, man. Where are you going? I said, well, I was going to Christ for the Nations. It's where I'm at. He said, don't worry. I'm going to take you there. And I said, what? He goes, I'm going to take you right there. Where do you want to go? I said, well, could you take me back to the dorm that I was in? And he said, yeah, I can take you there. And I said, as a matter of fact, right beside my dorm is an auto shop. And he goes, don't worry, son, I'll get you there. So we drive 25, 30 minutes back. He pulls into my dorm area, and right across the street was the auto place.
Yep.
He pulls in there. I jump out. I said, thank you so much. He said, I'm not leaving you until I know you're okay. And I said, well, no, I'm back. He goes, no, I'm not leaving you until I know you're okay. So I go in, I make a collect call because I had no money.
Yeah.
Call my dad, who gave the guy a credit card to haul me in.
You had credit cards back then?
My dad did.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah. And so my dad gave him
that
a credit
must have been kind of new.
Credit card number. And the guy got me 2 new tires and paid the price to tow me back. As soon as I walk back out, I tell the guy, I say, thank you so much. And he goes, yeah, I'm here to help you, man. Anything you need, you just always ask.
That's so weird.
And drives off.
Just disappears, kind of. I mean, literally drove off, but it's just like.
And after he left.
That phrasing is interesting.
After he left, that was weird kind of feeling. And I believe to this day it was an angel. Wow. I have no way to prove it other than nothing about it. Other than you could say, well, it's just a hitchhiker, right? And I'll say, well, yeah, great. I don't care. But it was just weird.
Yeah.
And so I just have, since I was 18, I have since that time believed that God gives angels in the strangest of ways that can manifest.
Just anytime you need something, just
that can
ask.
manifest spiritually as well as physically. I was sitting at
How do I call you?
I was sitting at a red light one time on a 4-lane highway, and the light turned green. And as soon as it turned green, I forget what it was, but it fell off into the floorboard.
Yeah.
And it was like sitting here like this, and then it fell in the floorboard. And I kind of jumped and I reached over to get it.
Yeah.
And as soon as I picked it up, a transfer truck
Straight through
and
the
ran
red
through
light.
the red light. I would have been dead had I not dropped the thing.
Yeah.
And so even things like that, I think now, I don't know, did an angel
Knock
bust
that off.
Yeah, like that's really what I believe.
Yeah.
Like I believe the spirit world is trying its best to get
interact with
to
us.
help us.
Yeah.
And then go here. We talk about demons, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God, demons, and where do they come from? Ask somebody, do you literally believe the Holy Spirit lives in you? Do you?
Do
the
I?
Holy Spirit.
Yes.
Does he live in you?
Yes.
So what you are telling me right now is that the Spirit of God Almighty
is inside of you.
lives in you.
Yep.
What is he trying to do?
I hope he's trying to help me. Trying to guide me, give me wisdom.
Why? What's his purpose in guiding you? To give you a better job, a better house, to help you finish the bathroom, why would God decide the way we're going to pull this off is you talk about demons and aliens, but how many of you are talking about my spirit that I put in you? You're freaking out over aliens, not you personally. You're freaking out over demons. You're freaking out over all these wars. Did you not know that I gave you my spirit to
be
inhabit
with you,
to possess you? I want to possess you.
Wow.
So it would be no different than me having a glove, and I lay the glove down on my kitchen counter, and I tell that glove, hey, make me some eggs. The glove's not moving.
No.
But if I put my hand in the glove and I don't put my fingers in the glove, it's still very awkward.
Yep.
The fingers are just going to flop. My hand has to fill the whole glove to be able to do the work. So when God says, I want to fill you with my spirit, he means I want to control your hands, your eyes, your mouth, your ears, your feet, your mind, everything. I want to fill you completely so I can do what I originally wanted to do, which is my glory will cover the earth.
Wow.
And then we sit here running rabbit holes all day long trying to find aliens and Epstein files and who's doing what is AI doing when that was awful. When many of God's kids don't have a clue about angels and nobody's ever told them that the Spirit of God is trying to inhabit and possess you to use you for a greater purpose. Not to help you be a better businessman, because you can do that with YouTube and TED Talks. I'm trying to get my work done through you.
Wow.
So do you believe my healing is in your hand? No, I'm pretty skeptical. Do you believe my power exists in you? No, don't know about that. So that many of God's followers have no clue. They are easily believe that they could be possessed by a devil more than they could be
Possessed by a Holy Spirit.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I agree with that.
So all this angel, they're going to release the alien files. They're going to release all this. I say, great, enjoy it, read it. But at the end of the day, look in the mirror and go, do you believe that God gives you angels, spirit beings that can manifest to help you and your children, to watch over you, your stuff, your animals, your car, everything around you, to do the bidding of God's work? They're servants of God, Hebrews 1:14, sent to serve you.
Yeah.
Literally sent to serve you. You have a servant. Everybody's like, ooh, one day we're going to get this AI robot, and this AI robot will cook for me. I'm like, do you not, God already gave you a servant. It's called an angel. They're sent to serve and minister to you here on the earth. They may not cook your eggs for you, but they're here to push a kingdom agenda for you, to go to war with you. It's what he said in Daniel. He said, I've been up there fighting the prince of Persia. I had to leave Michael in charge to come down here and talk to you. I got to go back and fight the guy. There's literally angels fighting for us in the heavenly realms, doing the work of God. So his kingdom can be done down here, but his kingdom's not being done because I'm ticked off at somebody, mad. All I care about is my line diet and my protein, and did I get a GLP-1, and what am I going to do about my kids' baseball? And I'm like, yeah, okay. We may not be possessed by the devil, but he's definitely got our mind and our thoughts and our distractions, and he's pulling off a good
distractions. Distractions is probably the best, right? I mean, we are owned by distractions.
Would it matter if I'm possessed or distracted if both of them end in the same result?
Neither of them.
The same result is you didn't accomplish the kingdom.
Right.
I'll distract you, and I'll possess you. I don't care.
And I would say the way the world operates today, we are the most distractible.
Sure.
I'm distracted all the time.
Every rabbit hole is another rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Just to keep you distracted from what you said at the beginning, the truth.
Wow. Cool.
Well, I enjoyed it. Hope that helped you.
Yeah, that's. Let's
go buy a
I'm going to
toilet.
come back and re-listen to this one.
Let's go buy a toilet.
Well, I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks, Brian.
Yeah, thanks, Brian.
We'll see y'all next time.